Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Witty Comic Book Roundup. We've made it through. We've been halfway through the roundup so far. So let's kick things off with Red Goblin number 10, the final issue of the series. Where we left off, Normie and Rascal were having problems. Normie was beginning to feeling remorse over his actions as the Red Goblin. The fact he was in fact hurting people, and well, the sad brain chemical, as Rascal puts it, the sad brain chemicals were negatively affecting Rascal, and so meanwhile, Venom, Dylan Brock, had shown up to talk to Rascal. So the issue begins. Venom is leaving the building that the Osborns live in when Red Goblin attacks him, wanting Venom to take Rascal back. But he tries to explain to Venom Venom tries to explain that he can't. And Red Goblin basically sucker punches Venom with the glider, and the glider kind of crashes into a construction site, temporarily leaving Venom unconscious. So, but as the damage to the construction site is causing problems elsewhere on the ground, Normie springs into action and does what he can to save those in harm's way. And as he does so, things there's kind of a stillness to everything, and what he's doing feels right. Catching cars, preventing them from falling off a bridge, then saving a little girl and modifying his appearance to not look as frightening. But Dylan and Normie talk, and as they talk, Dylan explains that, it's his fault, and he can't take it back because they're bonded, and that could potentially kill Normie. But he also explains that he needed to be a friend while he was trying to find his father, and he didn't think about the consequences. But he does point out that helping people felt good to Normie, and Normie agreed it did, and so adding that you can't fight. Basically, you can't fight the any more than you can fight your own name. But every now and then, there are days where you get to save the day. And he asks if that's really so bad, and Normie says that doesn't guess so. And Dylan's happy because he doesn't have any of the answers. But then again, neither does anybody else. And the two of them go back out of the city. Meanwhile, police are at a couple of police officers are at Liz Allen's apartment as Normie's missing. Her son Normie's missing, and but After the officers leave, the Liz comes in and find Normie in his room. Normie and Stan have a cute little moment, but Liz and Normie talk a bit, asking where he's been and how he is, where he's been, and when he gives very quick, non-committal answers. I'm fine, no, or out. But Liz points out that Normie's father, Harry, used to say that the only poison more potent than Goblin formula was a secret. But Normie says that his mom doesn't keep secrets from him, right? Of course, she has her own symbiote, and it doesn't seem that she's told Normie about it. But Liz points out that the window is open and she didn't open it. So Normie simply says, must have been the wind. And that is where the series ends. I really like this book. I wish it was going to go on longer, and I'm hoping that Normie and Rascal pop up in other symbiote-related books. Same with Misery, honestly. After all, we do have a Carnage ongoing, and Venom has his ongoing, so hopefully one or both can pop up in one of those two books, especially with what's going on in Venom. But moving on, though, to our next book, we have Superior Spider-Man, #1. Where we left off in the Superior Spider-Man, Return of the Superior Spider-Man special, Doc Ock had been remembered part of his time as Superior Spider-Man, working on an experiment. He had some lab assistants, spiderlings, one of whom was actually quite brilliant and seemed to and would make suggestions on how the experiment they were all working on could actually work. Well, Otto, as Spider-Man, instead heard her suggestions and then just acted as though he came up with the idea. She became empowered, and Otto basically locked her away. And as his memories of his time as Superior Spider-Man had largely been removed, didn't remember she was locked away. So he freed her. Of course, this is Dr. Octopus as Dr. Octopus, not Otto Octavius in Peter Parker's body pretending to be Spider-Man. So, yeah. Anyway, she got free and wanted revenge on Spider-Man. But the issue opens with Spider-Man and Spider-Boy patrolling, and they run into the villain Mirage, who makes a handful of copies of himself. As Mirage is, in Spider-Man's opinion, a D-lister, Spider-Boy is more than welcome to deal with Mirage instead. That said, Mirage's duplicates are, well, holograms. So, while Peter's able to figure out which one is the real one, and yes, Spider-Boy is too, he kind of has to, he wants Spider-Boy to figure it out on his own, and Spider-Boy does. The real one has a shadow, the duplicates don't. But Spider-Man and Spider-Boy are going on to Times Square, having ice cream, discussing their experiences, their recent experiences, namely that an end of the Spider-Verse, namely that Spider-Boy returned and no one remembered, and everyone, and his existence had been completely wiped away, whereas Peter was stabbed with the dagger and instead got now has memories of an entire alternate lifetime, as well as the one he actually lived, one in which his Uncle Ben survived. Um, but Bailey is about to tell Peter something important. However, Spider-Man stops him as Bailey is going to take his mask off to do so, and well, they're on one of the jumbotrons, so maybe don't unmask there. However, Supernova, the scientist that had been helping Doc Ock when he was Spider-Man, shows up and attacks the Spider-Man and Spider-Boy, with Spider-Man pointing out that, yeah, this is an A-lister, war crowd control. So Peter does what he can to dodge the blast from Supernova, but a couple of scientists are having coffee as the fight's going on, and one of them, Anna Maria Marconi, gets a look at the news footage of the fight between Supernova and Spider-Man, and recognizes Supernova as Estrella Lopez. While Doc Ock has been following Supernova and is watching as Supernova goes after Spider-Man, go like, hey, yeah, she's going for Spider-Man. Of course, I was masquerading as Spider-Man at the time, so yeah. But he sends out his Octoids to gather intelligence, gather data so that he can analyze it for future use. Spidey manages to hide from an alley and changes back into his civilian clothes. However, unbeknownst to him, he's seen by one of Doc Ock's Octoids. Supernova can't seem to find Spider-Man and leaves the scene. The Octoids return to Otto, and one of them states that tells Otto it's got information about Spider-Man. And initially, Doc Ock scoffs at this. He has everything there is to know about Spider-Man. Until the Octoid shows Otto what he's seen, that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, leading Doc Ock to remember everything about his time as the Superior Spider-Man. And that is where our A story ends. We have a B story set during the original Superior Spider-Man era, focusing on Spider-Boy. He's realizing that at this point in time, Spidey's seeming a bit different. Admittedly, part of that different is allowing Spider-Boy, one, to have web shooters, and also to do a bit more in crime fighting. But he finds a mask of one of the inner demons, and sees Spider-Man taking on a bunch of them. And it seems like his spider sense is warning him about the inner demons being in danger from Spider-Man. But Mr. Negative is attempting to rob a storage unit owned by the Fantastic Four. But Spider-Man's there to stop, to utilize the same equipment in the storage unit. But Mr. Negative touches Spider-Boy with his corrupting touch, and there comes a point where the corrupted Spider Boy is down, and Doc Ock nearly swings on him, but remembers his own childhood and his father hitting him, and well, he can't. He can't hit a child. So he takes a flurry of blows from Spider Boy before the FF show up. Well, the FF at the time show up. The FF at that point was the Mike Allred version, consisting of Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Medusa, and I believe She-Thing. I don't recall what that version of the thing, but it's a girl. It's Johnny Storm's at the time girlfriend wearing a basically a strength augmenting thing suit without a mask though. But Spider Boy snaps out of his corruption by Mr. Negative. She-Hulk asks Spider-Man what's wrong with him, with Medusa pointing out that no child should be treated the way Spider-Boy is being treated by Spider-Man at the moment. Even Ant-Man saying that it's not cool. But as Spider-Man walks away, he says he was never meant to have a sidekick. And at this point in time, the FF also had basically a sizable amount of children, of highly intelligent children. Spidey basically palms Spider-Boy off onto them and swings away. And that is where the story and the issue ends. I guess I'm really digging. I do enjoy these basically retcon stories featuring Spider-Boy. Makes for a nice touch, and gives some history. And makes Spider-Boy seem more like a character who, just was brought back, not newly created. So. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Spine-Tingling Spider-Man number 2. Where we left off, Peter Parker had woken in a world in which he didn't seem to exist, and had no superpowers. While trying to figure out what was wrong, how to fix things, he got a mysterious text that seemed to direct him to a train platform. When boarding the train, after boarding the train, it gets going, and the rather creepy-looking conductor asks him for his ticket, and well, is very adamant about enforcing the idea of having a ticket to ride a train, and so Peter's been running from the conductor, and seeing the conductor finally gave up the chase, but as he goes from car to car, he runs into a young girl named TJ, who says that she knows the way out. It's a door on the floor of the car, and the basic idea being that with the help of a guard, she would probably open it. So they manage to open it. It's basically it's through the undercarriage of the train. The girl goes through, and Peter pokes his head through and sees nothing left but a bunny slipper. Continues to make his way through the train though into the freezer car, where he finds dead bodies hanging from the ceiling. But the conductor shows up once again. Peter stabs him in the eye. Again, the conductor asks for his ticket, but the train stops, and Peter does manage to actually get off, running through, but he finds a picture on the ground, a picture of J. Jonah Jameson, shirtless and bound. Then one of Mary Jane and another Aunt May, leading to a rather creepy-looking house, which Peter enters because you got. Though his mind is telling me that it's not a good idea to do so, but he follows voices he hears in the house, and initially stepping on some broken glass along the way. He first comes upon Jameson, saves him, tells him, yeah, there's a couple of women that are been hearing screams for hours. Peter and Jonah go upstairs where they find MJ and Aunt May. Peter rescues all of them and says, okay, we gotta get out of here. Just follow me. As the issue ends, though, turns out it's not really May, MJ, and Jonah. It appears to be odd creations who seem poised to attack Peter. And that is where the issue ends. So it's definitely getting interesting. Obviously, the world will remember Spider-Man after all, but the journey is the important part, you know? I gotta say, Juan Ferreira's artwork is definitely adding to the creepy vibe of the story. I always love when a creepy story has an artist that can do a good, creepy artwork. Moving on, though, to our last one for the moment, we have Daredevil #3. Where we left off, the mission that Daredevil and Matt Murdock and Father Javier were working out of appeared to be under a lot of scrutiny, including from an online account which Daredevil was able to trace through and discover is run by none other than his longtime friend and ally, Ben Urich. There's also a new gang popping up that seems to be intent on inflaming tensions between the various New York gangs and claiming territory. So, the issue opens with Ben heading, or with not Ben, Matt heading to the Daily Bugle, sneaking through the ceiling and overhearing an argument between Ben Urich and Robbie Robertson. Robbie doesn't entirely trust the account, the social media account that's been posting things about the mission, but Ben trusted intently. He gets a text from Hobby. Apparently, Child Protective Services is going to review the mission that day. Matt returns, talks to the CPS person, who says that she can tell when kids are in trouble. She also tell when they're genuinely happy, and the kids at the mission are genuinely happy. But whatever is going on with Matt, he better figure it out. Otherwise, the kids are the ones who are going to suffer for it. This honestly just makes Matt madder, kind of with the desire to hit something. But he tracks down the members of the Heat, dealing with a large number of them in a construction site, and upon dealing with them, though, he manages to get a phone from one of them and discover just who it is that's pulling their strings. And it's a familiar voice from Daredevil's past. Bullseye. Also, before this revelation, turns out that the two officers who had shown up at the mission of guys previously are members of the Heat, which seems to suggest that the Heat is actually a gang made up of cops. But yes, the Bullseye revelation is where the issue is what the issue ends upon. That was interesting. It's nice seeing Bullseye back. The last part of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run sadly did not have a single. I don't believe it, a singular appearance by Bullseye unless it was as a metaphor during a vision. But anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.